Smock.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you for being here with us this evening. Fair to say you're not a pathologist, correct?
That is correct, sir.
You are not trained in anatomic pathology?
No, it is part of my forensic training, but I'm not and don't consider myself an anatomic pathologist.
And you're not trained in forensic pathology, correct?
I'm trained by a forensic pathologist because that is part of my training. So yes, I am trained in forensic pathology as it applies to the living patient.
And you're not board certified in forensic pathology?
That is correct.
You practice emergency medicine, right?
That is correct, sir.
And you have some experience in, again, as you described, forensics for the living, right?
That is correct, sir.
Do you, in addition to your practice, stay abreast of the medical literature in terms of forensic pathology?
I do get the Journal of Forensic Medicine, sir.
Okay. And how many autopsies have you performed?
Physically performed as what's called the Diener, I don't know, 100. How many autopsies have I attended? Thousands.
Okay. You would agree that methamphetamine and fentanyl, when combined, produces a different result?
They may, depending upon the level and the individual.
So there are variables, but essentially methamphetamine and fentanyl combined is different than a reaction to fentanyl.
That is correct, sir.
All right. And you would agree that in emergency rooms of late, the number of deaths related to the methamphetamine and fentanyl combination have increased?
I can't speak of at late, but it wouldn't surprise me, sir.
All right. And that type of a death, methamphetamine and fentanyl, is a much different type of a death than a simple fentanyl, or not a simple fentanyl, but a fentanyl exclusive death.
Again, depending upon the level, yes, sir.
The level and the individual person, right?
That is correct, sir.
There is no safe level of methamphetamine, right?
No, or there is a safe level of amphetamine. People with ADD.
But in terms of street purchased methamphetamine, there would be no valid medical basis to have that in your system.
That is correct for methamphetamine.
Now, you talked a little bit about the coma state in fentanyl overdoses that you would expect. What's the duration you would expect to see on a coma state in a fentanyl overdose?
That's all going to depend upon how much fentanyl is in that individual system. How quickly do we get Narcan on board? So multiple variables, sir.
Lots of variables. You talk about positional asphyxia, and you've reviewed the autopsy. Did you see any medical autopsy or any physical evidence from the autopsy that can point to Mr. Floyd's airway being obstructed?
No, sir, not in the autopsy.
And while Mr. Floyd initially was on the ground, he was talking, right? As
He was, sir.
And he, at points, raised his head. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
And he, for some period of time, was alert, correct?
Yes, sir, he was.
He was coherent, as you described, and he was making sense.
Yes, sir.
What is the evidence found at autopsy of significant force that was used to keep him in the prone position?
And the evidence was not at autopsy, it is on the videotape, sir.
Okay. You were talking about how Mr. Floyd maintained or stated that he could not breathe while in the prone position.
That is correct, sir.
He stated that before ever